Hey everyone, my name is Sean,
I'm Steven.
and then we have a special guest today.
Allyssa.
And welcome to
yeah.
Desk Crit. So how you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just, vibing. It's the weekend. Relaxed.
Yeah, what year are you in the program?
I'm fourth year, architecture, minoring in interior and landscape.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, why'd you choose architecture?
So, funny story. I was in chemistry originally because I wanted to be a dentist. And then my first term in college, I took chemistry, absolutely hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I moved on, was like, well, I'm a creative person, and I just randomly applied to be in the program, and I got in. And that's why I chose architecture.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Chemistry's tough. That's my weakest point for sure.
Yeah, any sciences, rough.
What about you, Sean? What's your weakest subject?
Writing.
Writing.
Sucks because it is very key point in architecture.
It
I want to tell you guys a funny story about what Sean did. He was in a group project, and you divide the work amongst your peers. And Sean gave the writing part to an international student.
I did not
who didn't
give
speak English well.
I didn't give it. I took the hardest role in that project, and I was like, well, I can't take any more roles because it's the RFQ project.
Okay,
I took the scheduling, the layout.
That's how I was.
Something else. I took something else, and I'm like, that's already a lot. Because I thought the schedule was easy until I realized it was one of the hardest ones.
Yeah, no, the schedule.
And then we're all splitting up the work, and then he somehow got the writing. I'm like, well, shit. And I don't want to switch with him because I feel bad because I don't want him to do the harder. But I don't know. But he did good. We clutched. We did really well.
Yeah.
I mean, low-key, I did the same thing. I was just like, I don't want to do the writing. So
I didn't even want to do the writing. I just somehow ended up with the scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just gonna roll with it.
So we want to read the first question, Sean?
Yeah. So what were some struggles in the major, and what have you wished that you would have known about architecture?
Yeah. So architecture is literally the hardest major there is, because it's just everything in STEM combined into one. But I don't know. I just wish, I was told going into it that it would be hard, but I didn't know to what extent it would be, that we are have mental breakdowns every week. We have to literally pull so many all-nighters, and my body is literally so used to all-nighters now.
Damn.
That I can just pull one without any stress. I'm just just pop a yerb, pop a yerb, and I'm good.
Damn, that's good. But is the product good at the end? You're happy with what you produce?
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, so I have to be happy with what I produce before I show anybody it.
Mm-hmm.
I will work hours on end until I like what I have. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember having her for a studio together. We were doing a housing studio, and I think you did a bunch of 30 plus units. No, or it was
40 units. Yeah.
So and then you were honored, from the crits that we had, the jury that came.
Yeah.
They were impressed by your work. I thought that was awesome. I felt like you deserved that because everybody else did one. I did 2-story.
Yeah.
Regular townhome, but you did 40 units.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congrats.
It was a lot of work, and but it all paid off in the end because I had one of my reviewers cry during my review.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that was my biggest accomplishment because I'm I've never heard of anybody making their reviewers cry.
It's always the other way around.
Yeah, right? They're usually the ones supposed to make us cry.
Yeah.
But then that happened, and I almost got a job out of that, but also I was just I don't want to move to where he lives.
Yeah, so it was the narrative that got him?
Yeah, it was. And just taking, because he reviewed me during mid-review also, and taking what he said and actually implementing it into the project for the good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because usually people just hear it and, all right, cool, as I was doing. Right?
Yeah.
You
you
follow through.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Any other questions for Sean?
Yeah, you always have I always see your work. You always got an interesting color palette style. You want to tell us how you got that going?
Yeah, I mean, I just gotta have fun with it. I like to like. I don't like the realistic rendering look personally. I'm just like, I mean, it suits some people well, but I don't like that for myself. And so I was starting to go into like more of an artistic style with like, I always pick a color palette that matches the studio, and then I roll with that. And it was just like trying to switch my mindset from like, oh, a building's supposed to be like gray or brown, and then switching it to colors you wouldn't think is normally a building. So like, I'd make a building pink, and I'd make the sky orange or something rather than the sky blue and the water blue. I'd change it up a little bit.
Yeah, you're right about that. I've noticed your color palette is
when I walk
different.
in a room, I'm like looking at a poster. I'm just like scanning. I'm like, oh, that must be Alyssa's poster. Like, all bright and colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make it fun because I think it just gets the eye of like people, and it makes me happy. So
you think that's a reflection of like your state, right? Because like I was talking to a student yesterday or 2 days ago, and she wears bright colors, and she had like this aqua bluish shirt that matched her earrings.
Yeah.
And she said that her friends would tell her like, why are you always wearing bright? And this girl was like always happy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and then some of my friends wear black shirts and they're always like sad. Right? And so do you think that reflects on your state of being when you're doing that color palette? Like you're just happy with the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it also just like going back to like the fashion thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love fashion, and that's like kind of where I like want to actually go after this instead. But playing on to like my like fashion palette and putting that into my projects as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like fashion makes me happy, so if I'm like gonna incorporate that into my project, then the project will make me happy too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. So how do you feel about architecture right now? Love it, hate it, riding with it?
I mean, I don't like hate it, but I know that there's things that I'm more passionate about right now, that architecture's kind of like my like side, my side hoe. I'm just like, I have my own vintage business, so I like put all my time and effort in that. I'm trying to I am opening a store, so that's like what I'm like worried about, or like not worried about, but that's more what I'm stressing over and prioritizing rather than architecture. And this year is also like, I had one studio and it was furniture. I don't have any architecture studios terminals, so architecture's kind of just like in the back of my mind right
Has that always been the goal, like to open your store?
Yeah, ever since I opened my business, I've been wanting to have my own store eventually. I just didn't think it would come this quick because I'm still in school.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of work to be a student and then also being a store owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, that's...
I mean, we'll get more in depth with that
Yeah,
later on.
Yeah.
We will. Next question, Sean?
Yeah, do you have any memorable experiences in any of your projects?
At the end of my projects?
Any of your projects.
Any of my projects. I would say my favorite project was probably the housing one that we were in for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
I love how like he just let us do whatever we wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it like allowed us to actually be creative, you know?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
He's laughing. He's laughing because we want to get into this subject about a specific student that like we all, maybe the whole department knows about, right? But,
yeah.
And we won't say his name, but those who know. Remember how like, well, you just clearly mentioned you did an all-nighter for the project.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
I already know where this is headed.
And so did I.
Yeah.
And so did other students like that produced like 4 pages of 24 by 36 posters of beautiful work.
Yeah.
And then this student like missed the midterm, and then he came late for the final, And then the final was trace paper that he gave to his kindergarten friend or whatever to do. Because it was just like, this is a complete insult, man.
It is.
Like,
it is.
how do you feel about that? You're a different perspective than mine and Sean.
Yeah, no, I was definitely irritated. And, like, me and my friends also talked about it. And we're like, how does this person keep getting away with this shit?
Yeah.
Like, one of these professors has to put an end to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it only takes one professor to just stop him. Because, like, if you're not gonna put an effort like all the rest of us, like, you don't have to be like grand and like over the top, but like you just have to put in a little bit of effort at least.
Yeah.
Because like all of us were there, midterm, final review, and probably got 1 hour of sleep. Like most, and he was just there late, showing up with his like literally like 8.5 by 11s out of like a final review.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like for mid review is like fair, but like final review is
right. But then I asked around, right, and like you knew about this student already. A lot of people did, so it's kind of like. It almost, if you're a player, right, it almost makes you feel like, why put on the jersey if not everybody's going to play at the same level?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was interested in seeing what your take was because I got upset.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, like I should have not taken it serious then if I was going to get a pass too.
Right.
But in the end, the reality is that it doesn't matter because I'm going to end up somewhere differently than him and so are you. But it just, I wish I would have gone fishing that day then. If it wasn't, you know, that's what I'm just saying. I wish there could be some of that if that's the route they're going to take.
Exactly. And I'm like, if this is the work ethic you're putting in school when you're supposed to be trying to like prove yourself to everyone, like how do you think you're going to get a job outside of school though?
Yeah.
It's like that whole world is a lot different and it's way more competitive. And yeah, there's just like major T actually, because mid-review, I actually know that he was not sick during it.
We all
knew that. But like, I knew exactly what he was doing because he posted pictures doing something else.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was obvious.
Yeah, like you said, go fishing, I would have been like, okay, I gotta go thrifting or something. Right. Yeah, just not care.
Right. Sean, you want to add anything to this subject?
Well, I spilled coffee on myself.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting the way I wish they like did their job supposedly because like I don't know. For me, example, I put a lot of hours in, but like I always get into that weird range where they're like, I don't know if you're gonna cut it. I'm like, I hit every requirement and I do everything to the end. I'm like,
right.
I don't know, but it is what it is. I still always end up clutching in the end of the day, but
yeah, it is frustrating, you know. But whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to the next question, Sean?
Yeah. So, how do you balance your workload in architecture because you're always a busy person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when I have studio, I prioritize architecture over everything, but I kind of I like to keep myself busy because then it doesn't leave room for me to just slack off. And so I always I just have a calendar on my phone I plug everything into. And I feel like if I have too much time on my hands, like the terms that I don't have studio, or like it could be like a somewhat easy studio, like furniture kind of was, then I have too much time to relax, which I know that sounds bad, but like, I don't know. I always would just sneak in like a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day. And then I'm like, well, shit, all the time's gone. I don't have any time to do anything else. So I feel like the terms that I'm the most busy are actually the most beneficial because I can get everything done.
We're so used to the go.
Yeah, yeah. And once you finally
when you like take a break, you're like, damn, what do I do now?
Yeah.
You're just like, and then I'm like, oh, my screen time's up. I'm just like literally laying in bed, just sleeping the entire day. and then procrastinating, you know?
But then come the day that the assignment is due, you're always ready. You're always,
yeah, I'm ready. But like I feel like those terms that are less hard, because like without studio, I feel like they can somehow be like the hardest terms because of that extra time.
Yeah.
And it leads me to like procrastinate till the very end because I just want to keep like relaxing.
I know you're like, I don't know, for me, like I think I had 2 terms where like I didn't have studio as more of my like free terms. I'd take like random classes, like non-architecture classes because we need those random credits.
Yeah.
I'll just be so lazy doing everything last minute because I'm like, architecture is more intense. Like this class is such a flyby that I can do it last minute. That I'm just being like lazy about until like the due date. I'm like, oh, okay, let's just start finishing this now. But I do agree with you. Like when I have studio, I prefer it more because like now it keeps everything aligned with everything I want to do. But non-studio terms, I'm like, whatever, do whatever.
Yeah. Moving on, Sean.
So how do you stay inspired and creative when you're faced with deadlines, or is there a creative block sometimes?
Yeah, I tend to face like the creative block. I feel like not at the very beginning, but like early stages in the project when it depends on like if my professor is liking what I like what I'm doing, then I feel like I get more creative. But as soon as like they start not liking what I have produced, then I just keep going in like rounds and rounds and rounds of like doing the same thing, but like, or completely also doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, they still keep not liking it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose my mind right now. And I just like, I get in that block and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
How do you snap out of it? Like, do you have to take a good break, like a whole day off, or do you just like you like thrifting, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you do that and then come back? Like, what do you think works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, I go thrifting. I do stuff for my business. I would say like just have that time where I'm doing something that I actually like, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta zone in, get into my project, and when I'm in that block and I'm not liking what I'm doing, my professor's not liking what I'm doing, I just kind of pick what my favorite thing is about my project and just keep working on that. Because like no matter what anybody thinks about it.
Yeah. What do you look for when you go thrifty shopping?
Thrifting? Yeah, I'm a like vintage Y2K seller. So like I sell a lot of like women's clothing, Y2K clothing, and I also find like all the vintage stuff, but that's just like my favorite thing. I skim through literally every single aisle trying to find stuff.
Y2K, like you remember that?
Yeah.
That was Backstreet Boys and all of that, right? So you sell that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like Britney Spears, Beyonce, like all of that, their style in the year 2000.
Wow.
Like, yeah, that's what I sell. That's like, I love that style.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I think, like, I'm glad it came back.
So what were you in that time, like, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Who did you prefer? The style of music?
I would say, I mean, I don't think really either, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of more into, like, the women artists and more of, like, the R&B styles, like Nelly.
That was good R&B.
Yeah, like the Nelly and, like, Akon, like, all of them.
Yeah.
They're definitely more my vibe.
Yeah. Sean, did you hear about them, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC? No?
No, I don't.
R&B?
I listen to like rap, like
heavy metal.
I listen to like 2 Chainz.
Eminem was 2000s.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't even know there was a market for Y2K.
Yeah, it's a big thing now. But I was getting into it when it was kind of like, it was there, but it wasn't crazy. And then now it's just been growing.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
You been to her shop?
No, I didn't even know. You were just showing.
Not her
Yeah.
actual shop, but like she like posts up at the EMU. Have you been there?
No. You
Yeah.
post up at the EMU?
And if you see, like, you know, the amphitheater, like, if you see those tents, I have a pink tent. And that's how everyone knows me by. Because I'm the only one with a pink tent. And so I'm like just selling my
cool.
clothes on the corner. And then, yeah, my sister and my boyfriend have a blue tent that they sell right next to me, too.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed about you is that, and you have in common with other female entrepreneurs, is that you guys are relentless, right, and tenacious. Like, and you, most importantly, like you're gonna do you. You don't really care what people are gonna say.
Yeah.
Because just thinking of you pulling up at EMU like with a pink tent, that's already setting a mark there. Like, I'm here to sell whatever, and then I'll go back to the studio when
Yeah.
it's over. That's cool. That I didn't know that. How did you know?
He stops by every
Oh
market.
yeah, I stop by. I always swing by, say what's up, see
Yeah.
how they do.
When do you do this? Is it like every other week?
Every week, actually. Like, it depends on my schedule for the term, but this term, since I don't have studio, it's every Friday.
We need to stop by.
I always go by. I
Yeah,
always say
just
what's
go with
up.
him.
Yeah, I'll go with it. I'll go
Yeah.
with Sean.
I always say what's up. Check out how they doing, and then go to studio.
Yeah. All right.
Meet my doom.
Yeah.
Next question, Sean.
So, what's the most valuable piece of advice you've received from a professor or a mentor?
That's tricky. I feel like in Vicenza, actually, when I was doing my studio project there, I got a lot of good reviews from all the professors that I was with, and how I was able to kind of step outside of my comfort zone. Because I'm usually like a digital hand rendered person. Like, I do everything on my iPad. But I never have done a project fully like hand rendered, like hand plans, you know? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
raw.
Right. I've never done that. And I did that in Vicenza, and they actually were the ones to like push me to do that, because they knew that I was capable of it, and I didn't think I was capable of it, but then in the end it ended up being really good and one of my favorite studio projects. So when a professor's like able to push me like out of my comfort zone, because my comfort zone's pretty large,
Yeah.
but when they're still able to push me out a little bit, that's when I'm like, yeah, that's like really helpful for me.
It's incredible the things that we're capable of, huh? Once
Yeah.
they push us to those limits.
Yeah, because yeah, I did like my poster fully hand rendered. Like, I didn't even open my laptop once. Like,
Damn.
it was, I took 4 giant pieces of poster board and taped them together, and I started from like one corner all the way down, and I had to like lay it out in my mind, because as soon as the ink hits the paper, there's no going back.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you can't just like
Yep.
Control F.
No,
you
no.
know?
It's permanent.
Yeah.
It's so
Wow.
scary because like when I did it on like one huge sheet. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll be like so freaking out trying to, because if you messed like more than halfway I was doing it, I messed up a little bit. I was like, oh my god. But like I was like, I can cover it with like, it wasn't a bad mistake where they'll notice, but I was like, holy, that was like too much. You can't just like.
No, exactly. I know it was towards the end when I was doing my section cuts, and I wanted to do like a watercolor section cut. And then I don't know how to use watercolors, but it was like the faster way. It was the faster way to go about it.
Wait, you didn't
like
do Copic?
Copic, yeah, but Copics are so expensive, and
Yeah.
for the section cut and doing all of that in marker is like a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And so I tried the watercolor, looked terrible. And so I went to the art store in Italy, bought a bunch of black markers, and just like went over it in black marker. Like that had to fix the mess up, because I was like, no, this poster's so good, I can't ruin it with just this.
Maybe you could talk about that, because you guys both went to Italy, right? But you went to Rome and you went to Vicenza.
Yeah.
But she was there longer than you? Like in Italy?
Yeah, I think
I don't know actually.
I think you guys were there for like 2 months or something. We were there for like almost 4.
Yeah. She was there. So what can you speak on? What are the pros and the cons?
Yeah. I'll start off with the pros because it was actually a year ago that I was in Italy. And so all those memories are racing back in my head, and it's not the bad memories, but it's the good memories that I'm like reminiscing on. But we were able to experience so much in like such a short amount of time. Like I swear I'm like the most experienced in Italy now because like I did not like know anything about it, but our professors like literally took us to everything that you see in the textbook and taught us about it. And it was like I was literally stepping into my like 7th grade textbook and learning about all this history. And we also got to be close with people that you like never thought you would be close with, because there's just, especially in the architecture study abroad, it's only one major that's there. Whereas all the other study abroads, it's like you have business people, you have all these other majors, then you learn about all of them. But we're stuck with the same people that we've always been with. But I got to make a lot of close friendships from that, and also going out. That was kind of the pro too, like just being able to, you know, like go to a bar at 10 a.m. and drink
in the morning,
and it's like normalized.
Wow.
Like, yeah, right, like you just like go there, you get like a spritz and you're like chilling. Yeah, but there was like, along with the pros, there's like a bunch of cons, I would say, because the first 2 weeks it was go 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 go. We were in Rome, Florence, a bunch of other cities, and like from 6 a.m., you wake up 6 a.m. Mind you, we started on Easter Sunday.
Oh.
In Rome, which is a very Catholic.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we should have like, you know, this day off. Like everyone has a day off. It's Sunday and Easter. No, we started on Easter Sunday, and every day for the first 2 weeks, woke up at 6 a.m., left the hotel by 7 a.m., didn't get home till like 9 p.m. And I clocked in like 25,000 to 30,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
10 miles. And my body was not used to that because I'm used to like 10,000 steps a day. But like tripling that was insane. And then just the workload that they put on you was like crazy.
And then it's slow, right?
Yeah. It's like insane. I'm just like, we're doing, on top of all this walking and like physical like strain, you're also like expected to use your brain and do all these drawings and assignments while we're walking around Italy. Like, was that like the same for you?
I mean, so the walking around part and going all the we had to do it.
Yeah.
But like none of us did it.
What?
No, honestly, for me, I just go around, do my own thing. Like, I was just enjoying the moment, honestly, because like with the incident that happened with me before I went there, I was like, let me just enjoy my time there. Like, I'd rather just enjoy the moment. I don't want to like.
Yeah.
I did some stuff because they were like nagging about it. So I was like, okay, let me just do this real quick and then let me just go enjoy the like scenery. But like, I guess I don't know. I think I don't really have any cons. Mine are all pros. Because
That's good.
How was the food?
Oh, fuck. No, I hated it.
You too.
You did?
So, I thought every restaurant I would go to would be like amazing. But honestly, you would have to go to the specific restaurants where it would be like, damn. But like a normal restaurant, I'd be like, I'd rather go to America for that. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would say the same?
Yeah, I was so tired of the food. Like, literally after week, like, 1.
I wanted a burger.
Well,
I know, right?
Like everything was the same?
Everything's the same. And, okay, everyone's like, oh, pasta in Italy. It's
That's
the
what
best.
I thought.
It's the best pasta. I hated, like, every single pasta I tried. And, like, I'm, like, used to, you know, seasoning.
Right.
I'm brown, you know. we dump
Flavor.
seasoning on, like,
flavor.
our food. And they don't season they put, like, salt and that's it. Like, it's-
It needed more flavor than that.
yeah, exactly. And so I was so tired of it. I just remember me and my friends, we'd go to like every other restaurant like that wasn't Italian food because we were like so tired
Damn,
of
that's
it.
more expensive.
In Vicenza it wasn't. It was
Oh,
actually
really?
really cheap. But we went to like this Indian restaurant and you could get 3 meals for like $30.
Damn.
Or 30 euros, yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool. You know, when we left Turkey coming back to America and the airport, you know how there's McDonald's and all of that?
Yeah.
Well, we got towards our terminal and we all went to Burger King right away. Did you guys do the same thing or what'd you guys eat?
We did. We ended up trying like Italian McDonald's and all of like those like fast food restaurants you usually see in America. And honestly, they're pretty good, like, because they have their own little twist on it.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we just kept going to other restaurants that weren't Italian restaurants, especially, well, also because you weren't on a meal plan. You weren't on a meal plan, right?
What?
Like you guys.
There's a meal plan?
Yeah, like.
No, we had to buy everything.
Yeah, no. In Vicenza, we.
Except for like wherever we go, there's like one meal plan, but it's like so shitty where I'm like, I'd rather just.
Yeah.
I wish you gave me that money for me to just go find food.
Yeah. No, yeah. So as soon as we got into, well, the first 2 weeks in Florence and Rome, we weren't on a meal plan. But as soon as we got into Vicenza, we're on a meal plan to this one restaurant called Righetti's. And we would you could either go there for lunch or dinner, cover one meal a day. And then we had vouchers to go to either 2 cafes in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah. And so...
About everything.
Yeah, in Vicenza, it was pretty much, like, free for all of our food. But I'd also go grocery shopping because I was tired of, like, the food. But at Righetti's, you're just getting the same meals every single day. And so, me and my friend Angel, we would get, like, a whole fish. And, like, we'd just be eating that because we were tired of all the pasta and all of that. And we're like... Well, she's from Hawaii, and so I was like, I'm Filipino. We're used to like eating fish, and so we just get the whole fish and we just eat that.
How'd you marinate it? What'd you put?
Well, they didn't have anything, but
I thought you were buying the fish at the store, making it at.
Oh no! I would go to the store to get like sandwich stuff or whatever, but like we would eat this fish at Righetti's.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and it was just a whole fish. It was my favorite thing.
So that was good.
Yeah. And honestly, it was just, like, the protein that was good. Like, we had the fish. We had a whole, like, roasted, like, chicken or something. Yeah. And we would just eat that. Wow.
So after you guys would get to your room or dorm at 9 p.m., were the professors still telling you, make sure you guys continue working on the section? And you're like, hell no, just close the door? Did they still try to get you guys to work once you got home?
All of us were like honestly in the studio, and they would also like be checking in on us in the studio super late, and
damn,
you know,
not me.
Yeah.
No, I thought like going into this, I'm like, damn, I have to go to hand drawing all over again. I was like, shit. I experienced that all 4 years. I'm like, I don't want to do that no more. I want to maximize my free time. And then when she's like, our professor goes, oh, you can do digital. I'm like, that's it. I'm dropping everything. I'm going all computer. And then everyone's doing hand. I'm like, you're all wildin', but it is what it is.
Well, half of us, I would say half of us did digital and half of us did hand renderings. And then like, some people did like a hybrid too. But I, pushed myself to do the hand drawings. But lots of people did do the digital, and I still think that they spent a lot of time on it too. Like all of us were constantly in the studio till super late at night, and like there's only a select group of us that were kind of just like, well, we're in Italy, we need to have fun, and so we would go out to the bars and just have fun. And there's this one bar called Chill Out, and there's a American military base actually like in Vicenza. So like all the Americans would be at this like Chill Out bar, and that was kind of like our designated bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would see like the professors like at the surrounding bars just like enjoying their drink, and we're just here like struggling.
Yeah. Sean was telling me that there was some, like, they were discriminating you guys over there. Is that right? You experienced that?
Yeah, what was your experience?
Yeah, I experienced more discrimination there than here, man. I don't get anything here. I don't get anything here.
Really?
I've never gotten. I got in
Really?
here once and that's it.
Yeah.
But after that, never here. Over there, I'd get it so many times. I'm like, man, this is fucked up.
But what? What were they doing?
It's not serving us or like
Mhm.
being,
You too?
being
Yeah.
a dick about it to us. I'm like, do you want my money or not?
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Okay, so can you explain more? Like, you would sit and they would sit you down, like, sit here, but never follow through?
No, there'd be sometimes me or like this one situation. I got ice cream at this one place, and they have seating outside. I was like, okay, let's just sit down because we're still waiting. And the guy was like, yeah, sorry, you can't sit here because like you have to pay. I'm like, literally just got ice cream. He's like, no, then you only can order drinks. I'm literally seeing other like white people that have the same thing as me. But I'm like, okay, then I want a Coke. He's like, no, I don't serve you. I'm like,
What?
Damn.
I'm like, bro, you're so lucky because if I knew the rules, if they're the same rules in America, I'll throw hands, man.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you experience?
Yours is
Yeah.
The stories I heard, that's crazy.
So we had in between Florence and Vicenza, we had like a 4-day break, and we went to Cinque Terre. But we stayed in an Airbnb a little bit away from it, just because it was cheaper. But in that little island, I think I forgot what it's called. We seriously had to go to like 5 different restaurants until one guy was finally like willing to serve us. Like, yeah, we went to.
Please, we need food.
Yeah, like we literally we went to.
Please,
No, I know.
don't care.
It was exactly like that. It was exactly like that because we went to this one like pizzeria, and then they were like, oh, we only take reservations, mind you. It's empty.
Yeah.
There's not a single person in there.
Yeah, it was obvious there.
And we're like, okay, and then so we like go, like we walk away, and then we try to like call in a reservation. We're like, and then they're like, no.
They just went to the side of the alley, like,
no, like we were like, ciao.
Italian, like,
We had it on like Google, like Translate. We're like, how do you make a reservation? We were trying to be Italian or whatever, but then we went to all these other restaurants. Nobody would serve us. And then we finally like went to this one guy's restaurant, and we're looking at the menu, and then he comes out.
you're all begging.
And then I literally was like that. I was like, can I get food? And then he was like, oh yeah. I was like, and then all of us just like dropped to the floor. We're like, yes, because we weren't able to eat there. And then that was that experience. And then there was another experience where we went to this club in Vicenza, and we had reservations to go to the club too. It was on our phones, like we had the receipt and everything, and they wouldn't let us in the club. And then they were like, no, you need to have the reservation, and we had the reservation. And then they wouldn't let us in. We like almost got in a fight with like the security guards.
Damn.
Yeah, and then there were these other people walking into the club, and they didn't have anything. They didn't have to show them anything. And then there were people that were about to walk in, and I was like, can I see what you have on your phone? And then it was the exact same thing that we had, and they showed it to them, and then they let them through. And then there was like this other group of people, and it was like 3 white girls and like a brown guy. And then they let the girls like in, and the white guy in too. There was like 5 of them, and they only didn't let the POC in.
What?
And I was like, oh, okay, so that's why that's why they're not letting us do this.
That's odd.
Yeah.
That's odd. The guys in Turkey, one of the guys said that over there they don't let men in the clubs unless you bring 2 girls.
Oh, what?
So that way there's room to share. Because not every, like, it's cool you have one for you, but bring one for someone that doesn't.
Yeah, that's
how
a
does
bad
that work?
mindset too.
So I wonder if that's what happened to the POC. They're like, all right, cool, everybody in except him. You wait. That's messed up.
Oh, well, yeah, and I was like mainly with POC with me, so that's probably also, I'm just like, we were all mainly girls.
Yeah.
There was like 2 guys and all girls, and we wouldn't let us in.
So what'd you do in the end? You just left? Can I get my money back?
Yeah, we just left, but it was free. But there was like a group of us earlier that went in like 5 minutes earlier, and they're all white, and they let them in. Right. So it wasn't even an American thing. It wasn't even, look, you're American, you're not allowed to go in. It was literally because we were brown.
Wow,
Yeah.
Sean, what's going on, man?
Well, you look at me. They blame the fucking Europeans.
But nobody talks about this, right? Like
You know, it's
told
funny.
me.
I feel like they're more racist over there.
They are.
But it's never like. I feel like America's known to be racist, but actually, I really think Europe and Asia is the most racist.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think America is racist, but America's also, you know.
I think we just public.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the cameras on, but like they don't.
Yeah. And it's like people, like the cancel culture in America is like a lot bigger than any other country.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you say something racist, you're going to get canceled.
Yeah.
But like in other countries, like they don't like
yeah, they
have
literally
that.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
So that's why they're openly racist.
How did you continue about your day like that? Like that didn't like bitter you for the rest of the day?
Yeah. For the food situation, yeah, we were like super upset about it the whole time. Like afterwards, like we went home and just like literally just laid down, just went to bed right
like
after.
in silence. Huh?
Yeah, we were just like.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Hungry,
mad.
Did you guys
Yeah.
share this with the professors at all?
Yeah, we did actually talk to one. I think we only talked to one of the professors about it, and they did their best to like stand up for us. These 2 professors that like
I wish.
Yeah, but like
no, because the ice cream story, our tour guide was sitting the same place as us.
Yeah.
And he was just watching us get kicked down.
He saw.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he's Italian too, so I'm like, man, I don't like you. Didn't look
Yeah.
nice anyway.
Right. Yeah, I showed his true colors immediately.
And then, funny story, but I don't know if I should share this, but after
Maybe cut
the
it out.
club, yeah, I'll just tell you guys.
Yeah.
After the club, that we got kicked out of, we just ended up at a strip club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was that?
We didn't think it was a strip club. We thought it was just a normal club. Then we walk in and everyone's saying,
Throwing euros.
like literally like just don't have clothes on, and we're like, oh, that's
Everybody?
the type. Like, well, all the
The
girls,
girls, yeah.
all the girls, and then it was just like older men there. And
Did
like,
you see Sean there by any chance?
I was still in the U.S.
Yeah, he was actually like the main, like he was on the pole.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was throwing
man.
it down.
Yeah.
Sean, you never got a hold of them? Oh, you guys weren't there at the same time, were you?
No, they're spring, I'm summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That would have been funny, you guys Skyping each other or video calling each other.
Yeah,
But,
no.
That sucks. Sorry to hear all that, man. I remember he shared that with me, and I was like, Italy? He's like, yeah, man, it's more racist than here.
It is. They're just so like open about it.
But even him, right? I'm like, even you, because like he's light skinned.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Right?
surprising. I mean, because like usually.
No, I thought most people want to take Asian people money anyway.
Yeah.
I guess their pride was just too much on the line.
Yeah, that sucks, man. So sorry that we drifted away so much. Sean,
No,
Sean,
that's fine.
here's the next
This
question.
is the point. What do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment in life so far?
Probably this vintage store that I'm opening up. Because, you know, I started from nowhere, really. And, like, to be 23 opening my own store.
That's big. That's
Yeah.
big.
I mean, I'm proud of myself. And I tell people I'm proud of myself. Cause
Good.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
We're
thank
proud of
you.
you.
Thank you.
Sean, anything else you'd like to add to this? Because you're the one who knew about this success of hers?
I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, you know, I met you like here. I knew about you here and there, and then now like you have your own store. It's like kind of crazy. It's like kind of came fast at you.
It did. Like, damn. It was so like unexpected. I actually just came back from Italy, and I was like, I saw a vacant spot, and I was like,
it was a good location too.
Yeah, and so it was just spare of the moment. I was going really into my business last summer. In Portland though, I would travel to Portland every single weekend, to sell, and then we just kept growing from there. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna open a store.
So the market is that big?
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
There's this thing called like ThriftCon, which is like lots of just vintage sellers, and they come in to this convention, and we all sell our clothing.
Yeah, right now vintage fashion is on the high.
It is.
I thought that was big here in Eugene only, but apparently not.
It is really big in Eugene though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you. It's gonna make your business boom. You know, that's awesome. So what led you to open the store? Because you were just, the demand was so high you couldn't keep up. You just said open the store better.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, the demand was high, and especially in Eugene, there's not a lot of vintage like stores that sell women's clothing.
Oh yeah.
All of the vintage stores in Eugene are mainly men's. There is some women's ones, but like it's mainly t-shirt bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, that's fine, but I wanted to cater towards like women, because like women love clothing as much or even more than men.
Yeah.
So I wanted to open this store, and in Portland there's these type of stores where you have the owner, but then you have all these little other small businesses selling in your store. And so they pay your rent.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like they pay you rent, and then you take commission from their pieces that they sell in your store. And so you're kind of covered, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
So we're actually going to be like the first store in Eugene to do that.
That's big.
And have all these other small businesses selling in our store while we sell in the store, and then yeah.
That's huge, and I commend you for that, because you shared a little bit of your story to me and the winner of that term, of how you experienced some hardships, and now for you to become a business owner, that's huge. So I'm really, really proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you.
You plan on doing stuff at U of O still, or once the shop opens, or just all in the shop?
Oh yeah, we're gonna hire people in the shop, and so we can still sell at UO, because that's where our like biggest customer base is. Everyone knows us there, and so like we want to keep going with that.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's cool. What's your favorite architectural software?
I think it's not really it's not architecture like fully, but I love Procreate.
Mm-hmm.
It's for iPad. Yeah, because like you can just do whatever you want. I would say out of all the actual architecture softwares, I like Rhino the most, because you have like the fluidity to do whatever you want. It is a lot more work than Revit, but
unless you know the shortcuts.
Yeah. I mean, because Revit, I know it has to be fully like structurally sound to be able to produce something in Revit. And so, but once you do Revit, you have the model, the plans, all of that. In Rhino, you have to do it all by hand. And so
Whoa.
Why?
No,
Why
yeah, I'm
laughing?
just laughing at Sean, because Sean makes it happen with Rhino. Yeah.
I'm a Rhino master.
Yeah, I love Rhino.
Yeah, he gets it done. But you're right. It's 2D, but you can do 3D in Rhino.
I can catch up to the Revit people.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah. He
honestly, the best projects come out of Rhino.
Yeah, they do. Those are the ones that are award winning most of the time.
Yeah. Like I'm
coming up. Just watch out.
You're gonna be, just like famous eventually.
Procreate is like Illustrator, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of, but you're just like, it's fully like hand.
It's like digital hand drawing.
Yeah, it's like it's just on your iPad, and you have to have the pen to do it. But like you're drawing everything in. You can put like patterns in and whatever. That's what I produce all my stuff on.
Everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
pretty much. So it is kind of like hand rendering, but digital.
So I did my first 2 years. I used my iPad a lot.
Yeah.
So that housing project you did in Procreate?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big. Okay, so you're really good in Procreate.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I started it off in Rhino, and then I took all of that into Procreate, and I rendered everything in Procreate.
Yeah, because you just need a scaled image, and then you can just start rendering it on your iPad since it's already scaled.
Yeah, but like most softwares, there's a learning curve, right? You have to put in a lot of time. Because I've used it, but I'm probably nowhere near as good as you.
For Procreate?
Yeah, I just move on to Illustrator and Photoshop.
Yeah. I'm not good at Illustrator or Photoshop, I would say. So that's why I was like, I'm going to move on to something else. Yeah. And that's where I ended up being good with Procreate.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated and overcome self-doubt?
I just kind of, like I said before, I'm a perfectionist. And so each project, I want it to be better than the last. And so I kind of just constantly push myself to make it better than the last. And like ever since I was younger, producing projects, like just little projects, I always had to be like, oh, this is perfect in my eyes. So I can present it to everyone else. But if it wasn't perfect in my eyes, I'm not going to show anybody, Like, it's just that, it's a bad mindset too, though, because it kind of like, it weighs you down a lot because you're trying to push yourself more and more and more, which is just good and bad.
Yeah, I do the same thing. That's why I always get those marginal passes because I don't show anything until like it's ready to go.
Yeah. And like mid-review, I'm like, I try not to, but I always have to make things really nice for mid-review too, even though I know it's just like a stepping stone. But I still have to make it like nice in my eyes. Yeah,
I believe that. She's right.
Yeah.
I mean, our mid-review, you saw what I came up with.
Yeah.
Hella stuff.
Yeah.
What was
Excluding the section.
Wait.
I know you look like you're about to say that.
Yeah, Sean's section, man. It made history.
Wait, why?
Because you know in the library those prints that people leave that like they don't belong to anybody. In case you forgot them, here they are.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just lines.
Yeah.
Well, Sean had put a section up in his midterm that was just horizontal lines.
No.
And then people were like, "What is this?" And I said, "Sean, it's the
art.
prints at the end of the print."
It's abstract.
They're looking at it and they're like...
Yeah.
They just moved on.
It's for you to conceptualize.
It's funny. It's like rendered. There's like floor plan sections, and then like rendering, and you just see this weird like line work drawing. You're like.
Oh man.
It's like I just gotta get it up.
You see all the good stuff, and then you start looking at it, you're like, wait a second, what's that?
Yeah. But it went well for him, right? All they talked about
was
was
good.
render. Yeah.
I don't know. I always clutch, but
yeah,
never good.
You made it happen.
How did your mid review go?
I'm trying to remember. I think it went well. I mean,
it wasn't anything like serious or crazy or mid review. I think our final was like a huge stepping stone.
Yeah.
So. And this is what happened towards the final too, was that they were pinning all of us on urban design, right? When we're not urban planners and planners.
Yeah.
So they were getting us with that, and then some of the landscape architecture features he was able to address. But
we
then
took on the whole site.
Yeah.
Some people just kind of like.
And it was a real challenge, right? Because it's a project, and then they tell you it's gonna flood, by the way. So, and you're like, what the hell? Then why build here then?
Yeah.
So it was already a depressing project, so to speak, right, to go into, because like you want to work in something that you don't have to worry about that, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
So then we're now planning to create landscape features. So in case it floods, there's these landscape attributes there that'll prevent it to get to the building. To flood. And then they were like, this is weak, and you're like, well, focus on the architecture. We're architecture students, you know?
I know. I was listening to his review. I was like, holy shit, why is it going so... I thought it was a good presentation, but then he was just getting rolled down. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, I really just take it because they're the professionals.
Exactly.
They have experience. I really never take it personal.
Yeah, I'm like, some people, like, with crits, they just don't care about the crit, which I think is, like, not... I mean, obviously, some crits are like, nah. Yeah. But, like, you have to take those bad crits into consideration because you're never going to improve from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there has to be something truthful behind all that, right?
Yeah, like, you can't take it... Like, architecture, honestly, I was a very sensitive person before this major. But then, like,
now you're a rock.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I got, like, freaking guns of steel now.
Yeah.
Like,
You have to, huh?
Yeah, like, you can't, like, just be sad over everything. Like, you just have to take it as something that'll push you further.
You think it's important to make it personal, the project, or no?
I think so. Some people will say no, and some people are like, don't put too much of your life into it. But that's all I know, and I think my designs, like, really represent me, and, you know, yeah, like, I mean, because, like I told you, I was homeless in high school, so, like, I put that experience I went through into my designs, and that's why I feel like not a lot of people are able to represent that fully because they don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
I try not to do that anymore just because, like, I get angry at students because they like, for example, I'm doing this housing plans and I have walk-in closets, right?
Yeah.
But then you're like, that's not an affordable housing. Well, it is in mine.
Yeah.
Because I lived in projects, you know, and we didn't have that. And you know, up until recently, I didn't have a walk-in closet. So now, to provide, if you're already creating a brand new, up-to-date, modern architecture housing complex, why not add the walk-in closet?
Exactly.
Right? And so they're like, the students don't understand. They're like, oh, what's projects? All right. And it's like disrespectful. Like, I'm not going to give you the game, you know, because now it becomes a case study to you. And that's not what the intention is. Like, I'm not a case study.
Yeah,
you
no.
know? I just eat top ramen every now and again. Don't look too deep into it, you know? Yeah. And they tend to believe that there's something there.
Yeah.
Because they're just programmed to think that everything is a case study, you know, but I think our cultures are beautiful, and I think being professionals of color it's a blessing because, like, we realize that not other cultures have that, right? Like sitting down at the table and, like, with Sean, we went out to eat together, and then he's like, you know, I'm not used to people, like, I'm used to bringing the plates in the middle and everybody shares, right? And I said, well, let's do that here, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's what I do.
Right? Yeah.
My family does that. We always just order a bunch of meals and we just put it in the middle.
Yeah.
And we all just pick and eat.
Remember you told me that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that with my friends over there.
I think
Just
that.
share.
Yeah.
But people, like, just think immediately,
what's mine is mine.
Yeah.
Yours is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, like, just like how you were saying, like, they don't know what, you know, the projects are. Like, it's just like, you aren't gonna ever fully understand that either. Like, even as much as I'm gonna explain it to you, you're not gonna know. It's like, I literally went to school with people in gangs, people dying from gangs. Like, I know what it's like, you know. I lived in my car, and, like, I know what it's like to not have, like, a shelter that's safe. And so I'm gonna be using that in my design to make sure that people feel safe in their homes.
Right.
And that's what I did with that missing middle housing project, was creating, like, trauma-informed design. Because, like, that's what those people are going to be, like, living in. And, like, people like me are going to be living in these types of housing.
Right.
And, like, the walk-in closet thing, it's like, I wanted to create a studio that was, like, or a studio and, like, different units that were actually good, because people, like, even professors sometimes, they're like, you like, it's an affordable housing, so it should be small, and it should be, like, not, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm getting nicked down so much
Yeah.
right now for writing
Yeah,
projects.
it should be, like, minimal, like, the most minimal thing, but it's, like, then you're teaching this mindset to people that low-income people can't have nice housing.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I'm trying to go through a creative way through it, and I'm just getting so like it doesn't work. But how do you know? It's
Yeah.
never been done. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I can't find anything about it. So like, you never know. Like,
Yeah.
I thought this major is supposed to be a testing field for us. Like, I know it's supposed to be real, but like, how do you know it doesn't work if it's never been done yet? So it's like,
Exactly. Yeah, because, like, you know, I was designing all these units, and even in my mid-review, I was like, well, this isn't what low-income housing is supposed to look like. And I'm like, well, yeah, and you see that all these low-income housing, like, units are not successful. So obviously there's something that needs to change in it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just be expected to live in shoeboxes our whole life.
Well, what it is that they lack empathy because they've never experienced anything like that. If
Yeah.
they did, then they would be like what you said. Hey, I've experienced this.
Yeah.
This is what they would need.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced this.
Yeah.
And you would think that would help you to win your case when you're explaining your project, but because they don't understand any of that, they're just like, yeah, but the point is to maximize as many units in the project. But you're like, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You're
thinking like a developer too.
Yeah.
It's just money for you.
Right. And that in the end, you're just doing it to be a savior then, because if you're trying to still put them in tight, then I don't think they would like that either, because most of the folks like myself who grew up in that, all I've ever wanted was my privacy. And that's why I'm a private person, because I never had privacy. My neighbor, you can hear all the noise.
Yeah.
You know, and then so doors with glass for your main door, that I will never allow that.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure you don't know I'm home.
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
I know you're home, like, hey. but people here, they're like, that's on them. I'm like, nah, that's just, to me, it's different. I come from a different world. Like, you don't want to let people know that you're home sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people also just like, you know, the open concept design, like the open floor plan concept, and they're like, yeah, do that because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do whatever. But it's like, that's also lacking privacy, because lots of also low-income families are big. And like, you know, like,
that's what, you know?
like, I have 2 siblings, but my parents both have, like, lots of siblings. Like, my grandparents have, like, 13 siblings, 9 siblings. Like, you know, they're big families, so we can't just be shoving them in, like, a 500 square foot apartment.
Right.
That doesn't work. Like, they want to have their own privacy from their family, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they come in with that mentality of beggars can't be choosers, but in the end, it's like, then don't do it then. Because
exactly.
you're still limiting them to a lot of these things that they deserve. Because they might not ever be homeowners. That's always my case.
Yeah.
Is that at least make it nice, so that way because work for the most part sucks for them, because they're not, most of them it's just day-to-day living. And so for you to tell them, go to college and spend 10 years it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. They already have families. So work sucks. And on top of that, they're going to a terrible place they have to call home because it's all tight.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's why I focus on, like, biophilia for what I'm trying to do, because I'm like, when I think of home, I'm like, I want to call this place home. It looks nice. It looks different from other, like, skyscraper apartments.
Yeah.
I want to make it look like greenery and, like, all natural, but, like,
yeah.
And also, it's proven, like, the biophilic design, like, helps people's, you know, mental health too. And lots of these low income, like, people are experiencing a lot of mental health.
I don't know,
issues,
for me, like, I would like to have, like, a green wall or a green garden that I can just, like, I can privately can go to and no one else can. Or, like, the whole, like, complex can enjoy it, but, like, every time bringing up new ideas, you know, I'm always trying to hop on the new ideas and incorporate it, but all the other professors are like,
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. I remember when I was designing the theater project, and one of the professors, I designed an alley that was good, like, for like a head covered over it so that because homeless people will go into the alleys and sleep, and it rains a lot in Oregon, and the site was in Portland, and I did that, and they were like, yeah, you're not gonna want that because then you're gonna get so many homeless people there, and I'm like, well then that's just kind of like anti-homeless architecture, like that's what you're kind of promoting in design, and I'm like, I thought we were trying to stray away from that.
Allyssa, what's even more worse than that, right, is that they expose themselves to this, that they don't have a home. So where exactly do you want them to go?
Yeah.
And they're trying to just stay warm, right? And not all of them are going to attack you. Otherwise, there would be already so many stories of them on the news. But they're just, I mean, it's such a complicated issue. But even then, like, they're just trying to seek shelter in the rain. All the while, you're having hot cocoa watching Seinfeld, or whatever it is. So it sucks. It sucks. I think that we should voice some of these concerns more because they don't know.
Yeah.
The majority of them have never or will never live in public housing.
Yeah. I mean, most of our professors and the professionals that review us, they're also just like the kids that are in our cohort, you know? Like, their families are well off. They're just in the design major trying to design stuff that they never experienced, Yeah. So it's just like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, and I just got exhausted by expressing this so much because I had one professor go, Steven, and I'm like, what the hell's that all about? Trying to make me feel a certain type of way. Like, no. But, Sean, anything else?
Yeah, how do you feel about studios? So for me, I prefer a competition or a real life project because like I feel like there's more of a drive, but that's me. But what about you?
Like a competition, like an architecture competition. I've actually never been in a studio with an architecture competition in it, but have you?
Yeah, I have. But I guess what he's asking is like, what type of studio setting would you prefer? Or what you would think would be most beneficial?
For me, I don't I hate like fake scenarios.
Yeah, he doesn't like playing pretend because then you're limited anyway.
Then it's like, what's the point of building it real if I can't have like be creative with it?
And to give this more context, right? Yesterday I got humbled by a group of people because I'm building housing for these specific people, and I've been trying to get a hold of them since August, and I finally got a hold of them yesterday, and it was only because I'm friends with the Native American. And that guy got a hold of that tribe. And then I was like excited. So I'm like, I don't know when I'll see you again. So I went straight towards the questions of programming and architecture. And I'm like, what would be beneficial for this group to have in this housing that I'm trying to build? And he's like, hold on. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your story? And then so I'm like, in silence. And so I'm like, I start giving him my story. And then he's like, okay. Secondly, is this a project or is this really going to happen? I said, no, it's a project. So is this like months or is this long term? No, it's just months. And he's like, are you catching my drift? And I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, we don't need a savior. You know how many times we've heard people say that they're going to do stuff for our people? We're tired of saying the same story. Yeah. And I was like, damn, he's right.
That's so real.
Right? Like I didn't take it bad at all. Like I was really grateful to hear that because he said, my daughter found this guy that's interested in her and he's trying to marry her. And so I told him, how bad do you want her? In my culture, if you want my daughter, you have to bring me the heart of an animal. You have to kill it though. So he's gonna do it. What are you willing to do for me to give you this info? So and then you have to respect it because that's their culture. Yeah. Right. And if I'm just coming in playing pretend, I'm just wasting all of their time. Yeah. Right. Like, Allyssa, tell me your problems. Good. Hey, Sean. So we're still gonna eat, and I like. What was the point of hearing? Yeah. Because at the end, you're not trying to be heard. You're trying to feel comforted and then an action plan. And so he was saying that he was tired of hearing all these things. Unless it's something signed that's actually going to happen, then we'll get there. But I'm exhausted of telling our people's story. Yeah. And so with now tying it back to Sean, is that he's tired of playing pretend. And even more so with our studio is, you know, people are doing it for different reasons. I'm doing it to help this group of people. But I just got humbled with a reality that's truthful and honest, right? Because like it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And these people became vulnerable to tell me their story. And in the end, I'm leaving and nothing's going to happen. So he's saying that it's more beneficial to do a competition because at least there you win or you lose. And with
or a real like an actual like, can we just like, I don't know, I guess a firm's trying to build this, like, can we just get some info on that and like see if we can like do that? Like, I don't know, like pretending is like, okay, if we pretend if it's a real building, like, I mean, anyone can do that. Like,
that's also why like some people are like they don't take it seriously because it's like
that's what I'm saying. Pretend. There's no like drive.
Exactly. With and then imagine 8.5 by 11s.
Yeah.
He would have been really offended.
Yeah. No, I think the competitive like nature would actually be pretty good in the studio.
I don't know, because like I'm not really in it for the money. I'm more in it for like, oh, you get recognition. Yeah. And that would be like good for like, it'll help your portfolio a lot.
Your resume, yeah. Exactly.
But like, I don't know, I was talking to Steven because like I'm struggling in our studio because my topic, everyone's like who they're serving under is very specific. But for me, mine was very open and everywhere because like I didn't want to choose a group because like I don't know what they want. I don't know how they feel. I mean, I can read all of this, but it's like, is that what they really want? So I don't really have a strong like story for mine, but like I've tried to build something more like anyone can use it instead of like specific, because like, from hearing from his story, I'm like, well, that's why I didn't want to do it, because that's the answer I kind of knew he was gonna get.
But it's fair, right? That's fair. I really like, I'm glad I had that conversation. Otherwise I wouldn't have known that reality. Because especially them, right? Like they've endured so much pain and so much like displacement. And then in the end, I'm just doing a pretend story. Like, not cool.
It is. It's just like, you're wasting their time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And mine.
Yeah.
Because I really care for it, but then he's like, I understand you care for it, but in the end, like, my family still went through this pain. Yeah. And you're like, damn, you're right. So, do you think it would be better if we stepped away from those projects? Or should we inform the professors that they need to enforce building community first? Like, we need to get over there, and they need to be there. Because they need a little bit of empathy in their life. They don't understand any of that world. Yeah. Because when you open up to them and you tell them a reality you're going through, they just look at you like they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So with them being at the forefront of the communities, it would help them understand to step away from that. Yeah. Because unless you're going to really do something and follow through, then do it. Otherwise, don't insult a culture that you really don't care about. And because like he told me, we don't need a savior. That was tough. but it's okay. I'm okay with that.
It's real. True. It's real. Yeah. No, I think honestly, if we were able to take like our professors to these communities, it would make the whole studio experience, and even just our peers to these communities that have never experienced anything like that, it would change everything. I feel like, because people are just doing it just so that they can get some good renderings out of it, and they're not really taking into consideration how these people feel about it.
Right, and it's deeper than just putting a flute native song in the background, right? Like, like, that's not it. We don't need that.
Yeah, and you need to like respect everybody's cultures too, just because it's not the same as yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, and these projects are just not really doing that. It's just like playing pretend the entire time. Yeah.
And then like the final kick to the throat that he gave me that was needed was that he's like, just like the solar eclipse that just happened, to us that's super meaningful, because that means that the sun is going to die to allow the next one to fixate this earth that has gone through so much, That's what it means to us.
Yeah.
Because they lived on the land before there was buildings, right? And so how many times did they not see the sky turn black and then light up again? And they said that it meant to them that the planet, it at that point it revitalizes itself, it fixates itself from everything that it has gone through. So at that point they're mourning and giving it thanks. All the while the people here are outside looking at it with glasses,
taking
right?
pictures.
No, it's meaningful to other people.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was beautiful, and that's what, again, it goes back to people creating a case study about it, but don't do that. Like, to them, it means everything. Just let it be that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it. It kind of reminds me also, it's like, not even like architecture related, but like when people find out about like your past experiences, and then they're like, oh, that's such a great story. Like, it wasn't a story. Like what? Am I like in a like fairy tale or what? I'm like, no, this is my life. That's not a story.
Right. It hurts, right? It stings. You're like, hey, this is my life.
Yeah, and I've literally had like that comment told to me. Like, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect me to react to that?
Right. Sean, have you ever experienced that?
No, I keep a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I keep
you do.
personal stuff out because you never know.
For the same
They
reason.
might judge you right off the bat.
Which
like,
sucks, right? But I need you to get judged now, man. Damn it.
I mean, that's why I get a lot of respect.
Yeah,
no one knows my private stuff that much.
Right. Yeah, that's important. I think, you know, because people don't know what to do with that in the end. And then it's disrespectful. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Sean? And you're like, what about me? I'm not done yet.
Moving on.
Yeah. Another thing that it always interrupts the mood, right? Like if someone ever like starts tearing up and you're tearing them, and they just pass you the napkin, and you're like, you just threw me off. Like, move on to Sean then, you know? Have you ever experienced that? Like, to me, like when I have gotten to that vulnerable state, and they pass the napkin, it's like, no, I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore.
No,
like, you shouldn't have done that. I need Sean to go through that, so that way I can feel like everybody's going through this. It's not just one. Yeah, Sean, what else do you have?
It was more about her like business, like why'd you wanted to start a clothing business?
Yeah, I started my business COVID because I lost my job, and so I have to pay for everything myself. I don't have parents' help, so I needed some source of income to be able to pay my rent. And so I love thrifting. And so I went to the thrift stores. All the dressing rooms were closed. And so I would have to buy everything. And then we weren't allowed to return it.
Mm.
And then when I got home and some stuff didn't fit me, I just had this pile of stuff that didn't fit me. And so, but I couldn't return it. And I couldn't try it on in the store because of COVID.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, I can sell it. And so I started selling on this platform called Depop, which is a pretty much a vintage, or I mean, it doesn't have to be vintage, but clothing reseller platform. And I just kept going at it. And literally after 4 months, I got verified on it as a top seller.
Dang, nice.
Yeah. And so like, okay, once I saw like how fast I grew from that, I was like, okay, maybe this is for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I was meant for. And then I started selling in Portland at markets and stuff. And my first market was just super successful. Like, I made more money in that one market alone than I make 2 weeks working at Target. Yeah. And so I'm like, in one day, I made more money than 80-hour week at Target.
Yeah.
Like 80-hour like paycheck at Target.
Nice.
Yeah. And so every week now we sell at EMU, and then we wanted to open the store just so that we can have multiple ways of selling our clothes, and like I get to share fashion with everyone.
Where can they find your store, and what's the name of it?
Yeah, so our store is called The Racks. It's going to be opening hopefully end of May, early June. It's going to be at 5th Street Public Market, or like 5th Street by Nike.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big.
I'm like, it's a great location. It's right across from the Graduate Hotel in between Jazzy Ladies and Urban Wax. And yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of vendors selling there. We're going to have our clothes there. Big grand opening. We don't have that date yet, but once it comes, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's congratulations once again.
Thank
you got
you.
a great location too.
Yeah, I was very surprised because they're very picky with their tenants, and that's what they told us from the start. We're like it's hard to get approved for the space here, but they loved like our concept, and they're like, yeah, let's make this happen. So.
Dang, it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
Sean, do you want to ask her anything else? You got something else for?
That was the last question.
Oh, good.
Anything else you would like to add?
I don't know. I think we pretty much covered all of our bases.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, we'll have you back. With more
Yeah.
other guests.
Yes, and then we got to do some fun stuff,
Yeah,
some
that'd be
interviewing.
awesome. Some more humor in there,
Yes.
right?
Oh, we'll do that as time goes on.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right, thank you so much for listening. And then do you want to give out your tag, and then I'll just
Yeah,
post it?
sure. My tag or my business tag's at Rebel Youth BTG. I'm Allyssa again. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
Thanks. You guys have a good one.
Bye.